Hey guys, what's going on? GM Bush back with another video. With MLB having come out, I wanted to talk about how to make stubs because I know that's kind of like the big thing everyone wants to know how to do. How does how do people do it? No money spent. For sure you can go out and spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars and try and complete collections. And to those people who do that, I mean, I get it, I understand it, and a lot of these guys, it's probably a ton of fun to play with these cards on day one. But for a lot of us, we can't spend that money, and we're trying to do the collections without spending anything and really grinding for it. So today I figured I'd talk about a couple tips to really make stubs, mostly being day one, but then one other way that I'll talk about that's kind of investment down the line. So the first one, probably the one you know, or if you've watched videos before, you know the most about is flipping cards. So the way this works is through the market you can see what you can buy and sell cards for right now at this moment. And what can happen is you can end up flipping cards and buying it for low, selling it for high, and making a profit, whether it be 500 stubs, 1,000 stubs. Sometimes you get more, but that's a little more on the rare side. When you're doing this, the first thing you want to think of or think about is the tax rate. So there's everything you sell, you will lose 10% of. So if you sell something for 1,000 stubs, you will only get 900. If you sell it for 100,000, you only get 90,000. That's just the way the market works. So you need to think about that because if you buy something for, let's say, 1,000 stubs and sell it for 1,100 stubs, 10% of 1,100 is 110. You actually only get 990 back. You've now lost 10 stubs. Now, of course, that's not a huge deal, but when you're working with bigger numbers, it does become to be a problem. And of course, we're about making stubs, not losing them. So right off the bat, something to know about this is I don't trust doing this with these high ticket cards because they change so often because they're so rare. So right now, of course, this card right here, this Billy Wagner looks amazing. You could sell it for 200, make 180 off of it, and if you only bought it for 90, you've made 90K. That's great. That's wonderful. I just don't think that that's sustainable. Because if you look at the card here, you're gonna see there's not a lot of actual versions of him up. And if people start to get their hands on him, his price is going to drop significantly. And as people start to get more stubs in the game, his price is going to start to raise on this side significantly. And you'll probably see them meet in the middle ground around 140, 150, somewhere in that range. And that's where I think if you don't buy it and sell it quick enough, for the prices you're looking at, you can end up losing a lot of stubs very quickly. However, if we go to live series, and you don't have to do this just with live series, but I think live series cards sell the most as people are trying to do collections. Let's look at this Kirby Yates, for example. If you bought this card for 17,006 stubs and were able to sell it for 19,999, you would make not exactly, but somewhere around 950 stubs, give or take. Now, it doesn't sound like much, but if you did that 10 times, now you've made 10K. And you can do this with literally any card, any overall. Just look at the price of it and see if there's a profit from it after tax. That's really what it comes down to. Um, Now the nice thing too is if you do this with lower overalls like these live series golds, these cards typically are selling faster because it's not as many stubs being moved. So, for example, like this Mike Clevenger, if you bought it for 1850 and sold it for 2450, you might only make 200 stubs, but you could probably sell 5 of those in the time that you could do one live series diamond. And going back to those higher overall diamonds like the Billy Wagner, those ones don't move quickly. You could be waiting hours on end. So I would say that's like the first way you can really make stubs. Like right here, this Max Muncy is actually kind of nice value, and I might actually put some stubs on him, one or two. I wouldn't do more than two at a time, just because again the market does always move. So if that Max Muncy order goes through, you get two of them, and then you come back. Once you get him and he's 1,800, now you haven't made as much. Maybe you've lost some depending on how much you got him for. So that's why I would just be careful with that. And then the one last thing to note with that is don't ever cut yourself short in the sense of make every single coin you can. This is going for 14.90 right now. Don't put up a buy order for 1500. Don't do 1600 so you can get it quicker. Do 14.91. And on this end, don't sell it for 1900, sell it for 1944. And if you have it and you put it up for 1944 and then someone comes in and puts one up for 1800, just let it sit for a bit. That 1800 will be bought up, all the massive undercuts will be bought up, and it will slowly make its way back towards your 1944 and eventually sell. The key with this method is just having patience. If you're not patient, it will not pay off for you nearly as well as it could if you just sit tight and let it go through. Alongside this, another thing that's really good to flip, but requires a ton of patience and is a little bit harder to do, is equipment. If you can find someone, this glove probably actually goes for 30,000 stubs. The hope though, or the problem though, is you have to find someone to spend 30,000, and 30,000 stubs is a lot early on, and spending it on an equipment item of all things is risky. But this bat here, I will happily put in a buy order. I'll do it actually right now, see if this goes through during the time. 48, actually that was overcut. As I was saying earlier, do not overcut yourself. So 48.73 goes through. If that goes through, if someone sells to that price, and I can sell it for 7,900 something, I'll make like 2,500 stubs, something around that. Again, these go through a lot slower than your normal cards and orders, but it is something to consider. Second thing to make stubs off of. Anytime you're playing, just try to, making XP through the first hitting program. This is just something, just a side note. You'll make a ton of stubs through this, so keep an eye on that. Just playing, making XP. But the big thing is where is it here? The conquest boards. I talked about this earlier, but the amount of stubs, packs, just from playing the game, just through walking the game. I know in this first inning, I went through and I just grabbed, there's a balling as a habit down right here, just so you guys know, there's a balling as a habit. And there are balling as a habits, I believe, in every single one of these affinity boards too. Balling as a habit is a free gold or better. And even if it's a gold, you could get someone like, let's think here, you could get a Joey Gallo, you could get Trey Turner, who goes for a lot, and it might not be a diamond, it might not be that flashy blue, but look, it's just as much as Aaron Nola, and he's a diamond, and Trey Turner's a gold. So there are some really good golds you can get. Byron Buxton, Starling Marte is pretty expensive for his overall, so you can make some value off of those packs, even if it's not a diamond. So that's just something to think about. Try to get through those conquest boards. You'll make a lot of XP, a lot of gold, and it's just really good stuff. And then the last major thing that I don't think people honestly talk about enough, especially early on in the years, if I go through my binder here for a second, and I was messing with this a bit. This is why I'm actually kind of lower stubs right now. So let's see. Let's find a card that's sellable in my binder here. So I have 4 of this Rylan Bannon card, right? Now, to most people, it's a 57 common. It's nothing. But I can sell this card for 198, and people will buy this card because of the fact that they are trying to do collections, especially the Orioles, who don't have any golds or diamonds. It just makes the collection a lot easier, and people are going to try and knock it out for the XP and for the stubs that you make along the way. So if I sell 3 for 198 and just give it time, guess what? Off of those 3, I'll make like 500 plus stubs. Just cards sitting in my binder, and that's like a cheaper end card. Let's say you have let's see if I can find like a good example. Gary Sanchez. If you had a card that's better than Gary Sanchez, you could sell this for 500 stubs almost. That's 450 stubs for one card that's just sitting in your binder rotting away. Now, if you want to do a specific collection, you can hold on to them. Like let's say you really want to do the Yankees and you're saving up, then hold on to Gary. There's no problem doing that. But if you don't plan on doing the Yankees soon, especially with them having a lot of diamonds and it being expensive, you might just want to wait, and you might just want to sell off all the cards you have. So that's it for the tips that I have for right now. Just again, flipping cards on the market, going through the conquest boards, and selling everything, legitimately everything, even if it's random equipment that you're sitting on. I have a silver bat. I might actually be able to sell it for 33 stubs and make 30 stubs for 3 of those, and that's almost 100 stubs for nothing. And there goes one of the Ryland Bannons, sold for 178. It's not much, but it adds up. So the final tip I'm going to give, and this is something I will discuss, I will give, I guess, tips on later on too, is if you're unaware, if you're new from Xbox or you're from PlayStation and you've already played, then you would already know this, but live series cards go up and down throughout the season based on how they're playing and performing in real life. Now, they do roster updates every 2 weeks. I believe it's going to stay that way. Last year was a little different because of COVID and a shortened season, 60 games. They wanted to get them out more often. But so every 2 weeks, these cards will update. And it's not every single card will update. But let's just use... Actually, I think a good example is Byron Buxton here. So looking at Byron Buxton's card, he's got only 65 and 56 power, 46 and 63 contact, and the reason he's a high gold is because he has amazing fielding, right? And he can bunt alright and all that. Now let's look at, if you look at his stats in real life right now, currently throughout this year, he is batting like almost 500 and has like 5 home runs through, they've played what, like 15 games, not even? That's incredible hitting, and that's better than most. He's one of the best hitters right now in baseball, the way he's playing. Because of that, you can assume that it might not be in the first roster update because they don't like to move guys too much early on, but you could assume if he keeps it up, his contact will go up and his power will go up. And if those two things go up, his hitting will go to silver, and down the line, if he keeps hitting this way throughout the season, he'll keep getting upgrades. His hitting will go to gold. So what does that mean? If he goes to diamond, you can sell it for more than you get it for. Now I have Byron Buxton because I pulled him in a just one of my starting login packs, and I could sell him for 8K right now. That's great. He might go to diamond though, and he could go up and over in price. I don't know if he will, quite honestly, because the other thing to consider is hype of a card. So if you know of a card, again, Byron Buxton is a good example, that is just absolutely going to hit diamond, and everybody in the world knows it. Again, talking about Byron Buxton, there's a high chance he's going diamond. He's already going for 7K. A diamond quick sells for 5K. He might go for 10K. So how much profit can you really make here? Now, on the other hand, let's say hypothetically here, and I'm not saying this is the case at all. Let's say um, let's say this guy, Jack Flaherty. Let's say Jack Flaherty had thrown just 3 games so far this season and was just pitching unbelievably. Had a 0.5 ERA. Now, of course, people would probably be onto it, but let's say he was going for this much. You would probably want to buy into him because if he goes up in overall and hits high gold or even diamond, people are going to start to take notice and invest in him. I remember back in MLB 17, the show, I believe it was Aaron Judge's rookie year, and he started as either a bronze or a silver, and you could buy him for like 250, 300 stubs, like literally nothing, and just over the season, he played unbelievably. That was the season I believe he hit 50 or 60 home runs, and if you do the math on that, you buy, let's say, 100 of them at 300 stubs a piece, right? That's going to cost you 30K. But he eventually made his way up to diamond, and even just because he was so common, because he was a silver at the start of the year, and there were so many of him on the market, he didn't go for above quick sell price as a diamond. He just didn't. He didn't go for like 30, 40K. He just went for quick sell. But if you had bought 100 for 30,000 stubs total, you could have sold 100 or quick sold those 100 for 500,000 stubs. The same thing happened with Corey Seager last year. He went from silver to diamond. So if you have some ideas of people who could go diamond who are very low overall, especially, invest in them. Hold on to them throughout the year. Don't put more stubs into them than you're willing to lose, because it is a game of chance in a sense, because what if they start playing unbelievably bad? What if San Diego Studios doesn't upgrade them? I'm holding on to this JD. He's only going for, he's going for 2,000. He was only 1,500 yesterday. But he has been raking this year. You just don't know what's going to happen. If you have cards that you think are going to upgrade, hold on to them. That's really the best thing you can do. I will be making roster updates, expectation videos in the future, a few days before the roster updates come to kind of give you guys ideas of who to invest in. But as a Red Sox fan, two guys I can tell you right now are severely underrated, and I would buy in on Christian Arroyo and Garrett Whitlock. They've been playing ridiculously good this year. I don't think they're diamond tier or anything, but I could see them hitting silver later in the year, the rate they're going. And what are they going for right now? 50 stubs. 50 stubs. This guy's hitting like 350. But that's going to do it for this video. Um, I hope you guys can take away some tips from this. If you have any tips that you would suggest, let me know. I'm all about sharing ideas here. There's no money spent. We're all trying to, eat together, get coins, or I should say, trying to make as many stubs as we can together. So this is not about holding back secrets. I'll tell you everything I do know. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you have any suggestions, let me know. And if you could, like and subscribe. And have a good one, guys. And see you later.